dodge 500 drones, and I will dodge 500 more. And the big ass drone up there flying, dodge his ass and dodge some more. They're out there, they're out there. Ah, they're out there, they're out there.
Black people, racism. Black people. Racism.
Feel like I'm getting deja vu. This is like a rock war number 2. A rock war number 2. I like to look at those oil supplies. I'd be ashamed if someone invaded you. If someone invaded you. And I ran so far away. Bomb I bomb them night and day, but destroy USA.
Ladies and gentlemen, hope you're having a wonderful night tonight. A record-breaking stream in terms of lateness, I think. Well, actually, we've probably been later than this at least once before. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope you're having a great Monday. Hope you went to church yesterday to kind of center your whole week for all the nonsense that we must endure on a daily or weekly basis. A bit more of a fun stream tonight, not even too much rage bait. Actually, I don't even really think I scheduled any rage bait for the stream. It's mostly, silly little shenanigans, some fun little things, maybe a bit of India versus China at the end. That should be fun. A sort of cosmic comedy of errors, right? In which Chinese females beat Indian males in a shooting SWAT competition. Big L. Big L. But we need those people for some reason. But speaking of people we actually do need for the stream tonight, we have Midwest 2A and Richard Cranium on tonight.
Hey.
How is your guys' night going so far, gents?
Doing great.
Good. Richard, how you doing?
I'm here. I'm alive. Good
Perfect. All right. Fair enough. Well, how about we start off with something a little silly? Just the headline. Just the headline is kind of wonderful here. So, all right. EPD, man on unicycle threatened Lyft driver passengers with loaded gun. The unicycler. We've had the Unabomber, and now we have the unicycler sticking up Lyft and Uber drivers and passengers. Wild headline. All right, so this is in Indiana, which we'll be talking about a little bit later as well. Police are investigating an incident following a unicycle rider with a gun late Sunday morning, which sounds like, I don't know, like a Just Cause skit or something like that. Around 12:30 a.m., officers were dispatched into the area of West Illinois Street and 10th Street. According to police, a Lyft driver had called 911 and claimed a man on a unicycle was chasing her and had a gun. Like, just this whole concept is very funny.
How
like, just
fast does a
imagine.
man on a unicycle go?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't even know.
So
I feel
it's a
like-
one-to-one pedal. They're not going much faster than what they can actually run.
Right, yeah, but to a woman. So man on a unicycle or average woman? Like, which one is faster?
Ooh.
It's got to be close, because the unicycle guy has got to be careful, right? Because it's balancing, it's more difficult. The woman just has to run, which, you would think she would be able to do, but...
Richard,
Nah,
do you
well-
have unicycle experience?
Yes.
This is in Indiana.
Yes, it is.
Oh, actually, that's a good point. Wait a second. Did we just dox Richard?
No. That's
I
alopecia, sir. I have far too much hair to be that man.
Hmm.
Sure.
Although I do thoroughly appreciate the fact that
mean-
the Florida man antics are now moving to Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana man antics. So, all right. Has unicycle. I mean, there's probably it's a very small minority of people, quote unquote, that have unicycle experience. All right. It's a wig. Yeah. Yeah, I was not expecting that. That was not on my bingo card. Was Richard unicycle experience? All right, fair enough. The driver told detectives she was waiting to pick up her passengers when the suspect, 29-year-old Patrick Donovan, rode past her and punched her side window while shouting. She says Donovan rode back and struck her driver's side mirror after she rolled down her window. After picking up her passengers, the Lyft driver said Donovan pointed a handgun at them after one of their passengers rolled down the window and yelled at him. The Lyft rider told police Donovan followed them while shouting and waving a gun after she drove away. Officers said they knew Donovan because he rides his unicycle around the area often. Like, you're the Indiana unicycler. And just known to police officers. All right. Police say they spoke with him and noticed a handgun in his waistband. According to the EPD, the gun was a black Ruger 9mm handgun. All right. Not breaking the stereotypes. Meth heads everywhere unite around the Ruger 9. That was loaded with 1 round in the chamber and 13 rounds in the magazine. Oddly specific. Donovan told police the Lyft driver tried to pull out in front of him and her passengers shouted at him. Dude, I thought bicyclists or cyclists were bad, right? In terms of how they own the road. Imagine the ego on a unicycler. A unicyclist?
Yeah, it's twice as bad because he's got half the wheels.
The
the ego-
bomber versus unicyclist.
Half the wheels, double the ego. He told police officers he showed his gun and said he didn't want a problem. Yeah, that's called brandishing, my friend. Donovan says he never pointed a gun at everyone. He was arrested and booked into jail without bond. He's charged with pointing a firearm. Well, he admitted to it, so that's kind of awkward. Yeah, that would be me if I was his lawyer right now. Yeah, don't do that.
Evansville police are investigating after a Lyft driver called 911 claiming a man on a unicycle was chasing her with a gun. The driver told officers that she was picking up her passengers near West Illinois and North 10th Street when Patrick Donovan rode past her car and punched her side window and mirror. The driver says one of her passengers rolled down the window and yelled at Donovan. That's when police say he allegedly pointed a gun at them and followed the car after she drove away. Donovan told police that the Lyft driver pulled out in front of him. He was arrested.
All right, Donovan. I hope a good couple weeks in jail and maybe a felony charge does you well. But speaking of other nonsense, this is the ultimate boomer bait. Now, I say that as somebody who dabbles in the AI monstrosities, but let's go through some of these on some rather popular Facebook pages. Although the irony here is Facebook AI boomer slop is almost all the views are also botted, right, by AI. So let's see. There's just a couple things wrong here with some of these diagrams. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's a little off. Whatever the blabba. Richard, have you gotten your blabba checked recently, or your herder? Or what about the NARS? The NARS is also really important. The rectin,
Riker.
the hammet, the snet. The annotations are quite funny. That looks kind of close.
Well, that one actually might.
Yeah, one of these might be real. One of these might be
that one
real.
actually is the compact.
Let's see. Revolver 410. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that one image was an application to get into the Discord server.
Probably. Yeah, probably with toes in it as well. They cropped out the toes because they didn't want to dox themselves. Yeah, I mean, just a couple things wrong there. You know, again, it's like close at first glance, and then you look. Oh, Block 17.
That looks like.
It looks surprisingly not like that thing, but fair
it looks
enough.
like a mailbox that.
See, that's what it looks like when John tells people he's 6 feet.
Yeah,
Okay.
dude, I do like how in the AI intro it got my height perfectly. I didn't have to tell it to make me short; it just automatically did that. Just instantaneously knew it could tell.
Ooh.
Made TN USA. Now this one might actually be a better design than the actual 320, although this is a weird one. That's strange. Another great.
Block 29.
Well, I mean, just you'll notice more and more as you look at it. So it has 2 rear sights on it. Quite funny. The assembly, recoil spring guide rod, slide, firing pin assembly, the stigger. I gotta be careful with the stigger on the bottom. All right. Yeah, be very careful with the stigger. Trigger integrated trigger safety, which looks like a magazine well of some sort. The frigate, the trical, the straight up steel. Okay, all right, good to know. Good to know. Yeah, that's just a wonderful little bit of boomer AI slop. But now let's go ahead and get into something that is totally not slop, totally real, maybe not in a good way. So, Midwest, you brought this up or messaged me about the brand new 6 hour contract that we're all very excited that they won another $1 million contract, aren't we?
Fair and square, baby.
Yeah. Well, I suppose we should just get into it. Indiana State Police selects the SIG P320 as the next duty handgun. The department spent $1.17 million on the new handguns and holsters, replacing a discontinued SIG model they had used for over a decade. Woohoo! So they're rolling out 1,350 new 6 hour P320s to officers across the state. The department spent $1.17 million, which is actually really high for only 1,300 handguns, because it's roughly $800 a package, $700 a package, something like that. New handguns and holsters replacing a discontinued SIG model they had used for over a decade. ISP officials told WRTV they had conducted extensive testing, including thousands of rounds fired before selecting the P320. Now, Midwest, you might have some more information on this, but what exactly did they do testing-wise, or maybe some of the omissions in terms of testing with these guys?
I don't. Their tests, I don't think were a whole lot. I believe they selected. They had some troopers from different posts that they ended up running through the tests, and I believe they only test 8 models, right?
Yeah, seven models only. So
7 models, and 3 of them were SIG sours.
Mm-hmm. Now you sent me the list here, so you guys will notice something is missing. So Sig Sauer M17, the DoD standard issue, the 320 M17, and then the 320 RXP, the Walther PDP 4-inch and 5-inch, and then the FN 509 4-inch and 5-inch. No Smith & Wessons on the list, no Glocks on the list. So they essentially replaced a SIG with a SIG while only giving really two alternatives. Walther PDP or the FN 509. Now, I'm not sure. The Walther PDP would almost undoubtedly be more expensive, and something that SIG does with a lot of their things is they can combo red dots because they make their own red dots, right? So they can give you a full package. They even make their own lights, right? So they can do literally everything for you. Whereas with a PDP or an FN 509, or even if a Glock, they wanted to go with Glock, you would have to get all of that stuff a la carte at some point. So,
and I believe that is somewhat how SIG sold this. Yeah. Now, they never even spoke to Glock because, from my understanding, about 20 years ago, some of the training staff at ISP kind of had a falling out with Glock. It wasn't really discussed, but basically that's probably why Glock was never even talked to on this. It makes no sense at all. But yeah, it's kind of funny. I think I sent you a image there. If you
do you want me to pull that up on screen?
Yeah, pull that up.
Let me grab it real fast.
So if you look for our region there, region 4 for Indiana. Scroll up and look at who that representative is.
Corey Mock.
Corey Mock. Go ahead and Google that name.
Oh no, what am I gonna find here? I don't know where this is going.
Look what his previous profession was.
Corey Mock. A LinkedIn profile popped up. Let's see. Rural home, land, and farm sales specialist, licensed real estate agent. Is that not him?
Guy. No,
wrong guy. Okay, shoot.
Let's see. He worked for SIG.
Oh, he works for SIG now. Yeah, he was a ISP trooper, and now he's the SIG rep for our area.
Interesting. That did not pop up. Richard, can you send me that link so I can pull it up? But yeah, that did not pull up when I Googled it. That's very interesting. Almost like we've seen these strategies before when it comes to SIG and winning big contracts. You just pay somebody to accept your pistol, right? Or to make sure that the testing criteria benefits you the most.
Yep.
Hunger Games ass regions. True. Nothing wrong with a little bit of Hunger Games. Who's my sales rep? That's what I need to know. Jeff Hallgreen. All right. Although there's only like 4 people here. Did you send it my way, Richard? Richard?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I had it pulled up. I just closed it out.
No,
yeah, if you look up Corey Mock ISP, it'll come up. He was on the ISP SWAT team, the state HRT SWAT. He now works for SIG, so that makes a lot of sense. He's now the big dog here.
Interesting. All right. Well, let's go through. So we did our own independent testing, of course. We did our own independent vetting. We're still confident we are delivering to our personnel a safe product for their day-to-day use. Concerns over the weapon safety has prompted lawsuits and agency departures nationwide. More than 130 lawsuits have been filed by officers and civilians alleging unintentional discharges, some resulting in severe injuries or death. New Jersey is also suing them, which does not look great for Sig Sauer. And let's just anything else of interest. So a 4-day transition training will fire over 1,000 rounds during the process. Additional safety training is also provided throughout the year. P320, blah, 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 blah. So, yep, now, another $1 million contract.
Do we really think that 4 days and 1,000 rounds of training are going to prepare officers going from a P227 that is their SOP for carry is decocked, hammer down, right? So that's
you mean
what
P226 or
P227. They carry the 45.
Oh, okay. I was like, what
Yeah.
the heck is that number? I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
Ah.
that's why it's yeah, Indiana using weird stuff.
That's funny.
It is discontinued, so that's why they were in search of a new handgun, right? So yeah, double action on a P227 is like a 10-pound trigger, going to a 3.5-pound striker fired trigger.
Well, what a change of pace too, going from like a steel 45 to a polymer 9mm, right? Interesting. Yeah, and I mean, I get moving away from 45 ACP in a double action trigger, but
Absolutely.
I don't know why you would. I mean, it's not like they even have any sort of compatibility. Like, you're going to be getting different holsters, you're going to be getting different magazines. There's no sort of carry over there, so I don't know.
And I
Other
guess
than the
SIG
fact that your
is
sales rep
providing.
is,
I guess they're providing the holster. They say it would help so that the trigger doesn't get pressed.
well, that's gonna be really nice for them until one of their holsters has a ND or a UD, and then they can't blame the holster anymore because it's one of theirs, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of how it goes. Yeah, I mean, if you want to stay in the same genre, you could just go 226.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, because you can probably keep with the same holsters if you have a 226, and then you still have either decock or manual safety version, whatever you want there, and that's going to be maybe a little bit more trustworthy than a 320. You never know. Yeah, Imoka says Hammer Gang to the worst of striker serfdom. In fact, that's slave level, not serf. Well, listen, all right, if you need, it's funny because the 320s like don't cost basically any money to actually make. They were selling them to the Marines for like what, $97 or something, like absolutely insane, to beat out other competition for customers. So it is a ridiculously cheap firearm to manufacture with maybe subpar quality control and some other silly things with it. But yep, another $1 million contract. I wish them the best. All 1,300 officers that have to now carry it.
They only have 1,000 officers. I'm guessing they want spares just in case they blow up.
Yeah, 1,350 total, and they said that there might be some other departments using them. So, yeah, or I guess 1,350 would probably be the maximum amount, right? That's like the top end of the contract is 1,350. So, all right. Well, speaking of subpar quality control, though, and something that also might blow up in your face, metaphorically speaking, right? Not literally, but metaphorically speaking, we have Strike Industries making a 37mm flare launcher, which is allegedly now in production. Now, Strike Industries and flare launchers, or 40 mil projectile launchers, whatever it might be, or whatever shenanigans people might get up to with these, not two things that I would ever put together or ever really want to put together. I mean, especially with what people can make with 37mm shells and the things you can do with it, whether legal or not. I don't know if I would trust a Strike Industries launching device, if that makes sense. Now, what's really attractive about it is on their own page, they claim that, let me see if I can find it. They claim that this is going to be 500, which is wild, because I feel like that for a quote-unquote modern launcher is a rather inexpensive price point. Now, it is still 37 mil, so you don't get any of the cool military shells, but you could always make your own or do some other wacky things with 37 mil. But yeah, I don't know if I would ever want to put this next to my face. Explosives and Strike Industries just don't go hand in hand. Not something that I would expect. Kind of cool, not what I would expect. 500. Well, it's either, is it 3D printed on the frame and then, just a metal tube of some sort, a pop metal tube holding your shell? Not entirely sure on that one.
Not to derail, but did you ever see the video that SV89 posted where he 3D printed a 37mm launcher and
shot
the projectiles and shot it in his backyard? In the neighborhood.
Backyard. Totally not a federal agent. SV89
Yeah.
Definitely did not manufacture a destructive device in his backyard and shoot it on camera. Totally not
alley.
A federal asset.
And he's another local-ish guy, right? I think I saw him at a shooting match.
Yeah,
oh, that's wild.
Yeah, he's Indiana as well. Down there by you.
That's got to be fun. It's painted PVC pipe from Lowe's. Is that the Wild Arms guy? No, it's just but it's $500. It's a pretty low price tag. Although I don't think I would be tempted to partake in this thing. I mean, it looks fine, but 37 mil launchers, there it is, mounted up to a Scar. It's like, all right, you're buying it for the looks, not because it's actually cool. The worst thing you'll put in it, probably for most people, is some sort of flare. But yeah, interesting moves. We got 320s or Strike Industries flare launcher. Pick your poison. Pipan Strong says, I play with a fully printed 37 mil all the time. Plastic barrel with fence post liner. This doesn't scare me. Yeah, but I feel like if you're just shooting like flares or really low pressure ammunition, then it's probably not that big of a deal, right? Who cares? Because it is just
They're
a
all
tube
low
with it.
pressure.
Well, right, but if you're hand loading or making your own shells and then putting them inside of these, I feel like that's where the recipe for disaster is, right? Because like, yeah, launching a lightweight flare or something like that's not going to blow it up, probably. But still, I don't know. I'm not sold on the idea of a Strike Industries product for actually launching projectiles. All right. Well, maybe we should move on to something also kind of serious here. So, Florida governor candidate James Fishback, home targeted in arson attack shortly after 5:50 p.m. on Sunday. A fire was intentionally set in his side yard and began spreading towards his home, where Mr. Fishback and members of his staff were working. We are grateful to the Madison County Fire Rescue for their swift response and for containing the fire before it damaged his home. Now, Richard, as a former Florida man, like not too long ago, do you have any thoughts on Mr. Fishback?
So I like a lot of the things that he's been saying, but again, he's a politician, so he's saying things because he knows that we like what they sound like. He's making the right noises.
Yeah,
Aside
I've
from
seen
that,
him.
I don't really know much about him. I don't know is that he would be. I can't see where he would be any worse than DeSantis, right? And he
Right.
has been vocal about some of the ridiculous hate speech laws in Florida. But
Yeah, he
aside
said a
from
lot
that,
of the
I'm not
right
sure.
things. I've seen him on the podcast saying the cool things, making the base statements, like talking about reduction in immigration or taking that welfare money and putting it towards like first-time homeowners, right? If you get married and have kids in Florida, you get like $25K for something like that, right? So I mean, there's some interesting things that he said. I would never put like our guy label on a mainstream politician, but I mean he said some interesting things. So Florida gubernatorial candidate who proposed 50% sin tax on OnlyFans, not sin tax, not sin tax, on OnlyFans creators, says he was the victim of arson. Now I think that if we're going to use taxation in this way to just completely delegitimize certain industries, like I actually think that's a kind of a base way to do it. Just make it to where you don't make any money and there's no incentive to do any of this anymore. And that's a way to kind of strip degeneracy out of society without having to deal with more serious, legal questions. But I mean, this is really only a stopgap. I mean, fully illegal, making it illegal nationwide would be preferable, of course.
Well, the whole thing with Florida is it's just posturing either way you look at it, right? Because they bragged that they banned porn in Florida, right? That was a big thing. But anybody who has access to Google will tell you no, that did not happen.
Mhm.
But the politicians are going to go on and they're going to say yes, we did it, and the ones who go and actually look into it aren't going to, they're not going to out themselves and be like, hey, I know you didn't ban this because I watched it last night. Like that's not how it's not how it's going to happen. So it's just their heads are in the sand, and it
Makes for an awkward conversation.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I did get excited though when I thought you said that he wanted to put Semtex on OnlyFans creators.
Oh, Semtex, yes, would also be quite funny. Syntax, and Semtex.
I think it's great, but won't they just move to another state? Just kind of like how everything in California goes.
Yeah, I mean VPNs don't exist. Definitely, no way.
Well, no, but this would be for people like running an actual business, right? So this would be for the creators. Like if they're filing taxes,
They're
it
gonna
doesn't
have to file
matter.
an
A
address, yeah.
VPN isn't gonna. A VPN ain't gonna help you, bro. Like look what they did to Whistling Diesel for trying to do that tax. Like he tried to evade like 20 grand in taxes on a Ferrari by using the Montana loophole, right? And then whatever state he was in was like, no, we're gonna throw you in jail now over like 20 grand, which sounds like a lot of money, but to somebody like Whistling Diesel, like just give him a 6-figure fine and walk away from it, dude. Who cares?
I'm not real familiar, but isn't that completely legal what he did?
As far as I'm aware, people have been using it, which is why it's known as the Montana loophole, especially since he has, businesses and LLCs and all this other fun stuff. So, but the state was really mad at him. So I think it might be a bit of posturing, a bit of flexing on him. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, people use it. It's like a known thing that people do, and Montana allows it. So
It's interesting.
Yeah. Josh, Jake, and I are screwed if they tax OnlyFans models. You are the OnlyFans model, Josh. Come on, we know it. We know it. I've seen you and Jake on Feet Finder, okay? Don't ask why I was on there, okay? But I've seen both of you around. Yeah, according to James Fishback's campaign, the incident took place at his home in Madison, a city east of Tallahassee, close to the Georgia border in northern Florida. The campaign said, 10 o'clock, 10 weeks, blah, blah, blah. Suspects are in custody. Unknown if suspects are in custody, blah, blah, blah. But he said some more aggressive things, some more base things than most politicians ever would. So, I mean, I could see why he would get some heat, from a certain, let's say, left of center crowd of people, generically speaking. Now, speaking about getting things in heat or blowing up in your face or premature detonation or whatever it's called, we have the somewhat sad conclusion to Robert Vogel's career and his criminal trial, right? Because he took a plea deal, which was probably the best option for him, but it's not looking good. Former Kenton cop avoids jail, labeled a sex offender. That is a terrible title. All right. I mean, they should be like Bob Vogel, world champion shooter, avoids jail, labeled a sex offender, not former cop. I mean, he was a cop for like 10 years, but no, he's like legitimately a world-class shooter, world champion, right? Now, nobody cares about shooting. Nobody, like,
Yeah,
even like
it's the
90% of the
clickbait
people in
factor.
chat don't care. But no, that's what I would say. I would say world champion. Don't tell them what sport it is, but I say world champion, former cop, or, I'd put that in there because that's flashier than just
World
former
champion
Kenton cop. World champion cop, yeah. Not doing the stereotype any favors. Wapakoneta, Robert Vogel, a former Kenton policeman and nationally acclaimed shooting sports marksman. See, even with this, they're underselling him. Like he's not even national. I'm sure he has national titles, but he has world titles as well. Was sentenced to 5 years of community control Friday and was fined $10,000 after pleading guilty to pandering obscenity involving a minor and disrupting public services. So what an interesting place. Vogel was indicted by a grand jury on 3 counts of pandering obscenity involving a minor, felonies of the 2nd and 4th degree, 1 count of disrupting public service, a 4th degree felony, and 2 counts of furnishing alcohol to an underage person, an unclassified misdemeanor. The charges were reduced. Well, so let me kind of walk you through the story here. So if you don't perfectly remember, Bob Vogel was having intercourse with underage girls,
Oh, there you go.
16 and 17 years old. That part, however, is legal where he is. Yeah, 17 years old. Sorry. He was having legal intercourse with a 17-year-old. However, he filmed it, which is CSAM, which is really weird, right? So you're allowed to have the intercourse. That's legal. You're not allowed to film it, right? So it's one of those weird, like maybe they should just both be illegal, right? I feel like that's fair, right? So, and then on top of that, he also had 2 girls, 16, 17 years old. Now he alleges that they told him that they were 19 years old, which is like, maybe, all right, maybe they lied to you, but it's just gross all the way around. I don't know why you, a 45, 50-year-old man, how old is he? 46, 47, something like that. is hunting for girls that are obviously like maybe legal. Like I feel like that's just anytime you're like, is this girl legal? Huh? Maybe you just shouldn't be involved in these activities anymore. You know, I feel like just if you had any sort of discretion, you should just not be involved in these in the first place, whether or not she lied to you or not, or both of them lied to you. Now, the thing that's not in dispute is that he also was plying them with alcohol. And so it seems to be kind of transactional. Okay, we'll be with you, old man, if you buy us alcohol or whatever else. And then at one point they get into a fight. He takes one of their phones, and that's the disruption of public communication because he held one of the girls' phones, one of these children's phones, right? I think the 16-year-old girl. And so because of that, he pleads guilty, not to statutory rape or anything else like that, but to possessing, you know, sexual materials of underage girls because they, again, 17 and 16 years old. The charges were reduced as part of a negotiated plea deal that came for the St. Mary's man to plead guilty to fourth-degree felony counts. Also important to note, even though he pleaded down and he is not going to get any prison time, these are felony charges. So his business of training, his business of shooting, all of his guns, I imagine, will have to be transferred to a third party. He is now a felon and a registered sex offender for the next 25 years, right? So basically for the rest of his life, he's a registered sex offender and can't own guns. Maybe at some point in the future, I know there's a path that you can take. It's not super easy, but there's a path you can take to get all your rights back, right? But I don't think that's the easiest path in the world for somebody like this. So obscenity involving a minor and disrupting public services, and community control. I think that just means like no substances, no contact with anyone under the age of 21, all sorts of check-ins and other fun stuff, I'm sure. The charges stem from a series of incidents that took place February 27, 2025 at Vogel's St. Mary area home. On that date, according to the county assistant prosecutor, Leah Zink Vogel, 44, so he's 45 now, was at his residence with a pair of females aged 16 and 17. The prosecutor said that it was discovered that Vogel had engaged in sexual intercourse with the 17-year-old and took video of the incident. It was further alleged that the 16-year-old female, who had been drinking alcohol furnished by Vogel, started a fight in the home. Zink said Vogel took the girl's cell phone briefly to keep her from calling the police, which is the other disruption of public communications crime. What a just wacky, degenerate, like Epstein-light behavior. You have underage girls at your home that you're plying with alcohol, having intercourse with at least one of them, and then they get into a fight and you have to take one of their phones to stop them from calling the police. This is literally Jeff Epstein-light behavior. Like, it's not to that level, of course, but it's right. It's right. It's heading that direction. All right. Zink said the state does not believe that Vogel intended to engage in sex with an underage girl. Vogel himself said that the girl had claimed to be 19 at the time of the incident. I feel like this should just be really easy to verify. Like, if it's that close where you're that worried about it because she looks really young, you know she's under 21. You know that they're both under 21 because they can't buy their own alcohol. Like, I feel I would just check. Like, that's kind of wild.
Here's my hot take. He knew that they were under 19 and under 18, and he sought them out anyway. Why are you going to buy alcohol for minors?
For sex, right? You're basically in a transaction at this point.
Correct.
Yeah, no, I mean, that would be my read of the situation, allegedly, right? I would say that he knew. Right. I mean, women lie. Sure. You can use it as an argument if you wanted to. But at the same time, I'm like, this is a 44-year-old man that absolutely knew what he was doing. Like, I would give both of them agency. They're both bad. Yes, I did provide her with alcohol, but I totally believed she was 19. Wink, wink. The 8-year law enforcement veteran said, "This has ruined my life." Yeah, that's what we do in these circumstances. Sorry about that, bro. The rest of my life, it has been a nightmare. I have absolutely learned something. Which is like, I've absolutely learned something. You're 44 years old, dude. Yeah, you learned you like young women. like dangerously young women, actually.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
started his career in law enforcement when she was in the first grade.
yeah, yeah. People suggested that Vogel not do stupid again. Yeah, Heppel. What is this line? Heppel. Heppel suggested that Vogel not do stupid again with very strange syntax. In addition to the 5-year community control sanctions, Vogel was fined $10,000. That's honestly probably like a court fee more than anything. You know, it's like, oh, we had to go through this plea deal and you got to pay for everybody's time. No contact with females he does not know under the age of 21. Yeah, that's kind of just a normal thing for most people. Like, don't interact with young females that aren't relatives. It's
I love how
pretty
they
normal.
have the court order that to stay away from the youngins.
Court ordered to stop being pedo bait, okay? Stop going after it. As a tier 2 sex offender, he is required to register. GM sex offender, by the way. As a GM sex offender, he is required to register. Well, actually, probably just like, you know, C class or B class. Let's be real. Okay. If Jeffrey Epstein's the GM, he's probably B or C class at most. As a tier 2 sex offender, he is required to register with local authorities every 180 days for the next 25 years. So he's going to be 70 before he's off the sex offender registry.
Well, there
Yeah.
is another way to get him off of the sex offender registry quicker.
There is. It's actually there's a great video of it. Where is it? Where they put the guy in the wood chipper. They put the dummy in the wood chipper to see what actually happens to him. Right? Let me see if I can find that. Because yeah, you know, I just, you know, if I was a parent or something like that, and some old creepy man in my neighborhood, you know, one of my daughters is out with one of her friends, and it's like, now, first off, don't let your daughters go out by themselves. First off, that's a bad idea. But just if they were out there and then somebody was taking advantage of them with alcohol or whatever else, then yeah, I think that this is a where is it? This is a appropriate outcome in some, you know, Minecraft world out there. Dummy in a wood chipper. Can we? Where is it? Gosh dang it! Trying to find the video because I saw a video of somebody actually feeding one of those, you know, realistic dummies like Garantham would use for his ballistic testings, like actually feeding one of those through a wood chipper.
Kentucky Ballistics put a small, one in a small wood chipper, and it seized the motor.
Yeah, this one was a big one, and it ate the person or ate the ballistic dummy like completely without issue. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I put it in my bookmarks though. I really should put this stuff in my bookmarks because it's funny.
You know where else you can put it besides bookmarks?
Where's that?
In the server.
No. Well, I saw it scrolling on X one day. Okay, like that's all. It wasn't. Where is it? Shoot.
Tell you what, those big wood chippers, like the brush bandits and stuff, I used to be in the tree service, and they'll eat you whole pretty quick.
Oh,
They
yeah.
do work. We did some
Yeah.
training and stuff with ropes. If you got your ropes stuck in there, it would drag you in, and they would drag in dummies and shred them up in no time.
Yeah, I feel like as long as you have one of the big ones, it would work. I'm trying to find that video, but say Livy. Oh well.
Yeah, I feel like a smaller one would hurt worse. So
Well, yeah, like the machine would get stuck up on your legs or your thigh bones
Yeah.
or something like that. I feel like that would be a equally miserable way to go. You're just kind of sitting there stuck with half of your legs removed.
Every once in a while, it breaks free and gets another couple revolutions and then stops again.
The wood chipper hungers. True. Well, here's something that's, I guess, not equally bad. Of course, it's not equally bad, but it is cringe. Okay. Another state, unfortunately, going the way you think it is in terms of gun laws. Yes, it's New Mexico. New Mexico Senate approves a bill restricting common rifles and magazines over 10 rounds. Now, you know, Springfield Saint, I do personally, I'm a big advocate of gun control when it comes only to the Springfield Saint, though. I feel like that one should be restricted from public service and needs to be completely retired. So I actually am all for banning the Springfield Saint, but just that, like that's it. All right.
That's the exact opposite take of what Springfield's gun control plan was. They wanted to ban everything,
Ban
that
everything
wasn't
else but theirs. Yeah,
Springfield.
exactly. Well, really, ours is the only one that's compliant. So you need to get rid of everything else. Okay. Like I feel like you have an ulterior motive here. All right. New Mexico Senate has passed Senate Bill 17, the Stop Illegal Gun Trade and Extremely Dangerous Weapons Act. Now that sounds like, you know, fine on its own. Stop the illegal gun trade. What are we going to stop selling guns to the cartels? Like, are we banning the ATF from our state? What are we doing here? What's going on?
Did anybody ever get arrested for that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, the Epstein files, right? There's not enough evidence to go after anyone. So why would we? Nobody's going to get arrested for that. Nobody's going to get arrested for, you know, 9/11 or some of the other big events out there, you know. People randomly die, people mysteriously commit suicide, all that sort of fun stuff. People don't get arrested for this. Setting the stage, it passed by a 21-17 vote. That's how tragically close it is. It's like, what's the difference between you having normal rights as a human and not? It's like 4 retards, all right? Really 2 retards. That's it. That's all that's between you and miserable tyranny is 2 retards for the entire state of New Mexico.
I like how all of these bills start out looking good. Like the first half makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they just follow it up with a bunch of garbage.
Well, so stop illegal gun trade. That's like, okay, that's fine, I guess. Well, what are we defining as illegal gun trade? But then the
That's so
Extremely Dangerous Weapons Act, like, what are we talking about extremely dangerous? That's where I'm like, oh, this is going really bad or really fast, because you're going to tell me that an AR is the most dangerous weapon out there. But I'll have you know that more people have died from shoving objects up their rectum than AR-15s. So if we're really going to ban dangerous substances, once again, we're back to, you know, banning OnlyFans. So I think that's a more useful time that we could be
Anytime that I hear phrasing like that from legislation, it just reminds me of PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, the group that steals dogs, kills them, and puts them in freezers. Like,
that's almost like sadistic in a way, right? It's like, listen, you guys can't mistreat animals. That's our job, right?
Right.
Like, you're encroaching on our territory, bro. Setting the stage for a contentious battle in the House, introduced by Senate Democrats and backed by Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham. The bill represents a broad effort to impose new regulations on firearms dealers to prohibit the sale of a defined set of firearms and components deemed extremely dangerous. What a wild username. Thank you for that. The bill, a declared top priority of the governor during her final... she's on her way out, too?
Of course.
On your way out, you're like, you know what? Screw all of you. Detachable magazines capable of holding more than 10 rounds. So almost every standard capacity magazine on the market for any firearm out there, any modern handgun, any modern rifle, all of their standard capacity is 30 rounds, or, you know, somewhere between 15 and 30 rounds, depending if it's handgun or rifle. That's a ways. 50 caliber rifles and cartridges. Okay, I just want to know. I want this stat, and I could really ask a Grocket, and it would give me something reasonable. How many people have ever died in the U.S. by 50 caliber rifles? 5? 10? From a 50 caliber rifle? Like, even if we're including 50 Beowulf.
Muzzle loaders. Yeah, I bet if
but that would actually have a huge spike at the Revolutionary and Civil War in terms of 50 caliber or greater deaths. But yeah, excluding muzzle loaders. Kentucky ballistics almost did. Yeah, tons. Civil War. I was about to say, yeah, big spikes in 50 cal deaths in the Revolutionary and Civil War. It's a good point. But I'm just saying, like, a modern 50 caliber rifle, whether it's 50 Beowulf, 50 BMG, I'm sure there's a few other wild ones out there, but surely it's got to be like 10. I'm actually going to see real fast.
It's just fewer than 10 to 20 historically.
Yeah, it's like literally nothing.
Fewer than 10 to 20. I feel like that's a small enough number that you should
It's
be
a
able to
rounding
get
error.
exact. Yeah.
Well, wow. Okay, so Grok was really fast. So according to Grok, the 50 BMG is extremely low. Likely 0 confirmed cases in civilian or criminal contexts. So I mean, maybe police, because did the Ruby Ridge or not Waco? Did the Waco guys use a 50?
So the reports were that the people in the compound had 50s and were shooting them at the helicopters.
Right. Well,
no casings were ever recovered.
according to gun facts, 50 caliber rifles have only been used in 18 crimes with no confirmed kills.
Damn, they suck.
So it's like literally 0. So who are we protecting? Literally no one, but we're banning sports shooters essentially, or people that just want to own a 50 BMG or a 50 Beowulf. This is a gay, retarded, leftoid thing. Like, oh, we got to ban this to protect people. Who are we protecting? Literally no one.
That'll also include 50 AE, so the Desert Eagle.
It says rifles.
And
cartridges. Rifles. Oh, well, I got no, you're right. You're right. Gas-operated semi-automatic firearms. Well, hey, congratulations. That's all rifles for the most part, and almost every pistol, or not, sorry, and a couple pistols that are out there. Gas-operated semi-automatic firearms. That's wild. You might be able to find a couple like recoil-operated rifles out there. Like, ironically, the Lynx, that 50 BMG that's recoil-operated, is still banned because it's 50. Not because it's gas operated, but because it's 50. Although maybe they make one in like 416 Shy-Tech or something, and you can get a 416 recoil operated sniper rifle, but not an AR. Okay. All right. Machine guns, which I also hate this. This is another thing that legislators always do to pretend like they're doing something. They're like, hey, let's re-ban something that's already banned. Or like who's using a registered machine gun in a crime?
Well, this is just bait and switch is what it is. It's because they're redefining machine gun to include anything that even approximates increased rate of fire.
Like FRTs essentially, or
yeah,
binaries.
They're wanting to go after they're wanting to go after FRTs, binaries, and even, you know, if you want to go down that route, you could say that getting an increased power spring and a lighter buffer then allows you to be able to shoot faster, which is then increased rate of fire. So they could really go down a rabbit hole with this.
No aftermarket triggers and everything.
That's a good point, actually. Maybe this is a SIG deal because we can only get the 5.53s, right? The roller delayed 5.56 rifles. That's it. That's all we can get now is roller delayed 5.56 rifle with 10 round magazines, which is wild to think about. Wild. Machine guns, yeah. Dealer mandates. So SB 17 would also create an expansive regulatory structure for federally licensed firearm dealers. And the state provisions include mandatory security systems, alarm and surveillance equipment, and site hardening. This is already a requirement for most FFLs, like federally, but they're probably just upping the requirements and making it even more egregious. That would be my guess. Age minimums, criminal background checks, and mandatory training for employees. Once again, this is already standard. This is already like a decade ago when I worked at Bimart, I had to go through their FFL training to be signed on so that I could sell firearms or whatnot. And it's like, yep, this is something we already do. Ongoing record keeping, including monthly inventory audits and trace request tracking. So they want like their own list, essentially. Monthly inventory audits, trace request tracking. They're just trying to up the requirements to make it more difficult for you to remain in business, more difficult for you to operate, and essentially force you out, which is what Washington did. A lot of the great gun stores that I used to go to in Washington, they had to either close down or move because they literally couldn't get parts in. It was more expensive for them to maintain operations. And so you're already not operating on a huge margin most of the time. And so they just said, well, I literally can't make this work, so I have to leave. Or I have to close down my... I know a guy who was a military vet. He owned Tactical Blackout in Centralia. And it was like his goal. It was his dream to own an FFL. And so he ran a great FFL there in Centralia, Washington, called Tactical Blackout, which of course, cringe name, right? Because Tactical Blackout Actual or something like that. But it was a great little FFL. I used it for years, and then he, just a couple years ago was like, I tried to make it work and I couldn't. This was my dream job. This is exactly what I want to do after post-military, and I gotta give it. I can't work here. I can't do this. Like, and it was his own little sole proprietorship, his own little shop. It was great, but Jay Inslee said, "Get out."
I mean, is that kind of not their whole plan? Is well, we can't go after the gun owners, so let's just go after the source, right?
Well, that works. It really does work. If you can just remove the FFLs, you're going to remove the ability for law-abiding citizens to acquire firearms, right? Because felons don't care. They just cross state lines or they sell, backdoor dealings, right? They don't care at all. So it doesn't harm felons' abilities to get firearms. It only harms law-abiding citizens' ability to get firearms. It's literally protecting no one for no benefit, for no reason other than to virtue signal to your, retarded allies, wherever you might be.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't even know if GBRS was in Virginia. Yeah, Virginia is another one of those places. So violations of the prohibited firearm sales outlined in Section 7 of the bill are punishable as misdemeanors, while failure to comply with dealer regulations can lead to civil penalties of up to $1,000 per violation. Now, another funny story about Washington, because I suppose I get to vent about Washington for a minute, is that there was was it Gators Guns in Longview, Washington, was after the magazine ban passed in 2021, I think, where they basically outlawed anything more than 10 rounds. They were still selling 30-round PMags as like suckers or as like paperweights, right? And that's what they were selling them as, basically. And they were selling them for normal price, $10 to $12. Well, the state of Washington came at them with some ridiculous fine per magazines sold. So it ended up being like they had sold like 10,000 magazines in this like 6-month time period where they were, violating the law. And so they came out at them with like, $7 million, $6 million, something insane for this little FFL to pay. And it's like, well, that's never, it's never happening. You already put them out of business and hurt their finances. And now you're asking for, $7 million for what they were just selling the other day legally. So
yeah, and I would never ever suggest that people look around on various websites for 458 SOCOM magazines that are 10 rounds. Yeah, there are certain places, the Bay of Ease, that offer engraved 458 SOCOM mags. For
you can say the word eBay on stream, like eBay's kosher. YouTube
oh,
loves eBay.
is it kosher?
Yeah, you can say eBay.
Oh.
eBay, you can, like, I could say Amazon. It's a place that exists. eBay doesn't sell regulated items, Richard. Doesn't sell regulated items. It's fine. You can say eBay. You can say Walmart. Walmart sells regular items regulated items, and I can say Walmart. You're good.
Totally didn't get a fax on Pencil Barrel not too long ago off of eBay.
Well, see, now you're making it sound like they sell regulated items, Richard, which is hurting your own case. Right.
Yeah.
So if we just don't mention it, then we can get away with it. But no, you can say it. You can say found interesting items on eBay. Okay. Well, what's next? Before we get to Russia and their new firearms, let's talk about the type of gangsters that still operate with near impunity in my old state of Washington. Actually, kind of appropriate timing here. 14 members of a Tacoma street gang are indicted for drug and gun trafficking. Law enforcement seized the equivalent of 533,000 potentially deadly doses of fentanyl, more than 7x the number of people attending the Super Bowl this coming Sunday. Law enforcement fanned out to some 17 locations in Washington, Oregon, and California on Wednesday, February 4th, 2026, making 14 arrests following a wiretap investigation of a drug and gun trafficking organization affiliated with the Black Gangster Disciples. I gotta look this up. Black Gangster Disciples. Is this Black Hebrew Israelites?
No,
because they are
the
essentially
GD.
a gang.
The GD. That's
BGD, baby.
yeah.
Black Gangster Disciples is a term historically used to refer to the Black Gangster Disciple Nation, a coalition formed in 1969 by Larry Hoover, leader of the Supreme Gangsters. All right. Dude, I had the League of Extraordinary Gangsters over here. And David Barksdale, leader of the Black Disciples, formerly the Devil's Disciples. Well, that's more appropriately named. The alliance aimed to unify rival gangs on Chicago's South Side and expand their influence. BGDN became a major street and prison gang known for its structure, criminal activities, and regional presence. However, internal tensions grew, especially after Barksdale's death in 1974, Hoover's incarceration. By 1989, the organization split into two factions. You have the Gangster Disciples, led by Larry Hoover, and the Black Disciples, which reestablished the original name and leadership under David Barksdale's legacy. Interesting. Well, that's more than I wanted to know about gay black gangsters. Lead defendant Kevin Salgado, DEI hire, of Puyallup, Washington, is alleged to have led the group distributing counterfeit oxycodone, Xanax pills, methamphetamines, fentanyl, and cocaine. Some members of the drug trafficking group also conspired to possess firearms to further their drug distribution. Members of the group were heard on the wiretap talking about exchanging drugs for firearms. Again, all of these guns are all totally illegal in Washington state. All of these parts totally illegal in Washington state. Felons don't care, right? They do not care about your laws, your rules, your regulations. That's why they're criminals, all right?
Aren't basically all of the drugs legal in Washington state now too?
Well, I mean, they have what is it, drug safety zones in Seattle and stuff like that, where the police aren't allowed to go in, and then they have like needle drop-off sites, and they have the free drug program or whatever that is for these people, which is like, why is the homeless population so bad? We just keep giving them everything they'd ever want. Wild.
I mean, drugs don't kill people. Guns do, okay?
True, yeah. Just don't look up the national averages for deaths in America, all right? See which one kills more. It's like 50 BMG versus fentanyl. It's only outnumbered infinity to 1. Let's see. So distributed pills he manufactured in Western Washington and across the country through the mail. So far, 3 overdose deaths have been connected to Salgado's activity. Now, I think we could kind of solve the drug epidemic if we tried every single drug pusher, drug dealer for murder. For if any of the people that use their substances also, anything that happens to them, you are legally liable for. So arrest them all for murder, tried, executed in public. I feel like that would have a bit of a chilling effect. You never know, though. So far, 3 overdose deaths have been connected to his activity. In addition to Salgado, these defendants are indicted in the case. Haley, Gabriel, Kevin, Joshua, Tyson, Khalil, all right, Ian, Edgar, Isaac, Roman, Geneva, Morandarte, all right, bro, Christian, and Michelle Ford Jackson. Oh, old lady, all right. Everybody else is like 24 to 30, and then they got this little old 50-year-old lady selling drugs and pushing guns. All right.
So
Now, if you look
it
at
looks like that's most likely the mother of everyone. There was a couple of individuals
somebody,
that
right?
and that she just happens to own the house, so
Yep.
she's going down with them as well.
Yeah, if she knew. I mean, it's not unlikely that she knew or had some sort of idea of what was going on.
Oh, that much traffic and that much stuff. It's
Wow, your friends are just so colorful, and all these bottles of pills that you're handing out to homeless people. That's so crazy. It's so generous of you. So yeah, you can see the pill and the stockpiles of what they got going on here. You can see some of the firearms. We got a 26 with a stendo. We got some sort of Glock up here, not with a stendo, or it does have a little bit of a stendo, but it also has a switch on the back because they go crazy for the switches. We got a baby blue Glock for the more fruity members of the group. We have a Bear Creek Arsenal, slab side upper receiver with a blue magazine because they got to have it. We have a buffer tubed ARP, of course, with a stack of money and drugs with one of those KCI 100-round magazines. Okay. We have another one with a Polymer 80 aluminum lower that's been drilled out by one of these kind young gentlemen with a Vector red dot on top. Funny enough, I actually owned that Vector red dot for quite some time. It's actually a world championship dot. The 2025 IPSC World Shoot, PCC World Shoot, was won with that red dot. Funny enough. Yep. And then, oh, here we go. This is some more exquisite options here. We have an MMP 2.0, no switch, sadly. We got an ARP with a really short buffer tube. I don't know whose micro buffer tube that is, but that is very short. And then we got a Magpul 40 rounder. Interesting. We got a 26 or one of the small micro guns with a comp on the end. Of course. And then we got a whole lot of Chinesium switches. Because, of course, what goes hand in hand with these types other than guns, drugs, switches, degeneracy, whatever else it might be. And you can see the types of individuals that we're dealing with here. These are the guys flooding your local community with, you know, drugs and firearms and all the other stuff. I mean, flooding them with firearms is fine, but the certain communities that these people tend to run in, very nice, very nice. I do appreciate it very much when you guys take pictures with your incriminating firearms and substances and flash money online. Very funny. Please continue to do that. If only we had like a real justice system that would actually enforce the laws equally among everyone, because I feel like you'll see people, they will just post randomly like them shooting into nothing with a switch, and it's like, surely they should be arrested tomorrow and put away because they're flaunting a crime on camera, right? Even if we disagree with the laws as they stand now, surely you should just enforce them, right? But no, of course not. Of course,
I do know that like gang enforcement teams, like inside larger cities and stuff, they do have a guy that watches all the Instagram lives and Facebooks. They definitely
they have one guy for it. That's actually funny. I liked how they have the alarm sensor. Have you seen those where it's like it detects when a firearm goes off? And
oh yeah, they have those in Gary.
Shot spotter.
Shot spotter. Yeah, they have them
Yeah.
in Gary and South Bend.
So did you guys hear that they were the contract for that in Chicago was about to end, and it was like right before the DNC convention, and it was being held in Chicago, and they're like, can we renew that contract, please?
Right, you're like, we actually need that to stay, please.
Yeah.
That's actually really funny. All right, well, before we get to Modern Warfare 3 Russian SMG coming back, not to market, but back into production. I don't know if you guys, I think this was like the PPS 2000 in Modern Warfare 2 and 3, I want to say. But Russia is restarting its production with its specialized ammo for armor penetration, which we'll get to in just a second. But let's get some of your guys' support real fast. Fiverr for $10, appropriately timed too, says N. Appreciate that. Thank you, Fiverr.
Oh, shit, nigga!
Richard, thank you, Fiverr. Lightsport member for 4 months says, I'm drinking all the hopium in the world that Fishback is our guy for Florida. Well, listen, Florida has had a series of bad leadership. Florida and Texas, really. And it's probably intentional. Within the next 10 years, you'll see Florida and Texas probably shift in a way that we do not approve of. So it's probably intentional degradation. But, you know, maybe Fishback can help there. You can hope and pray. Cody Fisher for $20. Thank you very much. Good evening, fellow Goy. I hope you all avoided the lizard people and little hats so far this week. We're hanging out there, you know, we're doing good. Thank you for the 20. Very appreciative of that, sir. Hope you're having a good night, good hangout. Subarctic Psycho for 5 says, apparently there was a sports ball event yesterday. I don't know. I was busy outfitting a Remington 870 for the upcoming drone apocalypse. Yeah, I'm very glad that until you mentioned it there, I hadn't even mentioned it one time. Not even once.
I do appreciate the fact that there was a spike for ICE search results in the middle of the halftime show.
Oh, yeah, because of what's his face, the gay Mexican. There's also some really disturbing statistics when you look up Mexicans and underage abuse. It's like really disproportionately high. So they have a very flagrant community. So
What
it's
happens in the
interesting.
sugarcane field stays in the sugarcane field.
Yeah, it's like it's disturbingly high, the amount of underage sexual violence that takes place among their own families. Like it's a
Well,
lot of aunts and uncles perpetrating this.
there's a celebration that honors the we'll not go down that road.
Well, there's a different one, yeah, that involving animals. Amrite Boy for 2 says Leighton gayer than Steve Jobs and is a bug meat. Gross. Maybe that guy got what he deserved trying to make us eat bugs. Vandalay for 2 says my streamer, the latest. His vibe, the gayest. True. Thank you, Vandalay. Appreciate it, sir. Lena Mitchell's North Starfish says we're reaching levels of latent gay that shouldn't even be possible.
Shut the hell up, bitch. Go kill your.
Thank you, Lena Mitchell. Fiverr for 10 says John respects the African culture by being chronically late. Yes. Yes, it's Black History Month. Come on, I didn't even think about that till now, but it's Black History Month. So in solidarity with our African counterparts, we have to be late every stream. Thank you, Piper. Appreciate it. Chud McGill for 2 says later and gayer than Trump and Billy on the island. I barely knew him. I would never write handwritten notes to these people. Josh, speaking of gay, for 5 says this one's on the house, my fellow Southerners. Yes. General Lee's strongest soldier right here, Mr. Josh. Noob Actual for 5 says, hello, my fellow nationalists, even the non-white ones. Yes, surprisingly diverse crowd we got in here. Speaking of that, actually, I just had one of the, do you guys remember Poverty Tactical?
Oh, it sounds familiar.
Let me pull him up real fast because I did find this kind of funny. So Poverty Tactical, he was doing some sort of stream discussion about something. I believe he is a African gentleman, and he was really upset at some of the takes that we had on the show. And so I was like, hey, I sent him an email. I was like, if you ever want to come on and talk and debate, like we can absolutely get that done. Yeah, but he did finally emailed me back like 2 months later. So we might have that happen this week. That could be fun. Speaking of which, I need to message Steve from Troy and hopefully get that set up for Wednesday. Hopefully we'll do that on Wednesday. Focus Group's wife for 5 says, hello, Anna. Big heads with small bodies, except John. That's prepositional. Prepositional? What the heck, Anna? On the sauce again. I don't know what you tried to say there. Polly B for 5 says, goated intro, does Iran mix go the full length? It does. There is a 3-minute version of it. If you send me an email, I have the file. I'll just send you the file. Thank you, Polly. Chud for 2 says, Richard OG, incredible gassy. Also, screw Indiana. Yep, totally get it. Totally get it, man. That's what you meant there. Lightspore.
I'm gonna be real. I lost the original Incredible Gassy.
Well, give him something. Lightspore for 2 says, who's the tubby guy in the top right? He's not tubby. You can't take that from him. You gotta fight back, otherwise they're gonna bully you. Nods. All right, fair enough. Anna's back. Focus Group's wife for 5 says, John, do you have friends over? Sounds like someone is rummaging around in heels. Huh. I don't know who that would be. That's weird. But just ignore the noises from the basement, dear. I'm sure it's not a problem. Polly B for 2 says, Milspec plus Dravidian haplogroups equals Jeet spec. All right, thank you, Polly B. Appreciate that. KK18 for 2 says, Jay Burden, Carl Dahl, and Tom Foe on stream when? Well, I did message Jay Burden the other day. I'm sure I could get him on stream at some point. And Tom Poe, I mean, we don't talk super often, but we do talk sometimes. But I've never talked to Carl Dahl, so I need to actually talk to him. But I'm sure we can make that happen at some point. That could be fun. Thank you, KK. John's wife for 5 says, John, your basement, excuse me? Sydney, relax. Your basement is on the internet again. I thought you were downsizing our household. Need more money to buy more heels. Okay, all right. Noted. That's not supposed to be public info. David, last name 1315 for 5 says, in the process of buying and building a 16-inch LMT in 6.5. I like the NX8 2.5 to 20. Am I wrong? Is there They're expensive scopes, so I would kind of see what's in that price category that you can get away with for about the same money. Like, do you need 20x magnification? Like, is the plan like this is a 1,000-yard gas gun? Like, what are we wanting to do with it? So, figure out what we want to do with the thing first, and then that's going to dictate your magnification range. Although, Night Force, they make some really, really good stuff and some things that are a little bit overhyped. So I think it's try and get some actual time behind the glass and see if that's really going to do what you want it to do before you drop like $2.5-3 grand on it. Thank you, David. John's wife again, Sydney. Don't worry, guys. I'll take care of him. Jake, hop in the minivan and bring those toes. Don't worry. I packed snacks. I don't know if Jake is comfortable around you with his toes out. Lightsport for 2 says, date people your age, you won't have this problem. I mean, or like if you're 45 and you want to date a 25-year-old because you're rich and wealthy and you like younger, like attractive young women, like I get the biological impulse for wanting a young, attractive person, right? But if it's so borderline that you're like, wow, I really should check an ID before I do anything, or, oh, my girl can't, buy alcohol because she's like 1/3 of my age, that's when we start running into problems, right? I mean, if you're 40 and you want to date somebody that's 25, like that sort of age gap used to be common. I mean, me and my wife are the same age. So for me, it's like, I don't care. I'm out of the market. But I get the appeal, of course, of somebody who's rich and powerful or has more money, has more wealth, being like, well, I'm 40 years old now and I want somebody who's 25. Whatever.
Yeah, you really can't blame Epstein for that. I mean,
well, see, that's the difference is when it's 25 is acceptable. 15 to 6 or 7 is that's where the wood chipper time is, Thank you, Lightsport. Appreciate it. Space Cowboy for 5 says, where are the girls' parents? Why are they doing this with a 40-year-old to get booze? Well, probably from broken homes, probably, no male role model in the picture. And so they are just teenage girl degenerates trying to have a good time and they don't care about the age gap. Right, because
you guys never did this when you were younger to try to get alcohol? I thought everyone did that.
Well, did you try to have sex with a 45-year-old man for the alcohol? I think that's the difference.
You didn't?
Is this more backstory on Richard? So first we learned that you rode a unicycle. What else were you riding for alcohol?
Hey, man.
Richard.
My days in the carny. Well, we'll leave it at that.
Kyle in Reno for 10 says, finally able to tune in live. Remember, gents, Christ is king. Christ is king. Thank you very much for that, Kyle Reno. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a good time tonight. Focus Stream Gooner 1488 for 2 says, hello, don't mind me. I'm just watching the stream. I didn't know that they had internet in Agartha. Because I think that's a Jeff Epp, Charlie Kirk hybrid face.
That's exactly what that is.
That's wild. All right, well, somebody's got to guard the gate to Agartha, so might as well be you. Bojangles for 5 says, don't worry, guys. Definitely voting harder will surely change things and definitely not just be a waste of time. I mean, I get the black pill, I get nothing matters anymore and I'm just going to give up. Like, that's fine. But at the same time, like, elections still have some consequences. There is still some real world benefit. Now, throwing your vote into a general election, maybe not so much, right? Maybe that is actually worthless. But local elections, state elections, I feel like you have a disproportional impact on those sorts of things, right? If I got onto my city council, which wouldn't be that difficult to do, right? I feel like I have a lot more power over the people around me, right? Over my community.
Absolutely. I mean, it all starts small.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone wants to complain, but local government, that's where it starts.
And you can only blackpill about politics if you're actively building yourself, building your community, building your family, or like striving to do those things, right? Because if you're just terminally online blackpilling, like what benefit are you to anyone by just blackpilling and complaining online? Nothing, right? So you need to be, working on your business, working on your money, working on your physique, working on your spiritual life, doing all of these things to actually build yourself up to be a worthy member of society rather than just complaining online. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but people who do that, it's like, bro, you're 400 pounds and all you do is sit online all day playing horse anime games. I'm like, I don't know if you have a right to complain. You're like the actual goy slave right now. So
Logan,
thank you, Bojangles.
Pro tip, if you guys get on your local emergency services board, you can really ruin a lot of people's lives. So there's that.
Ask me how I know, dude. So I do the kicks these days. Polly B for 2 says New Mexico 50 cal law is punitively anti-chud. Yeah. Anti-material? No, anti-chud. Spencer Porter for $20.
Shut the fuck up, man.
Joining the Navy in my late 20s. Insert gay joke here. I ship out on Wednesday. You're all gay, especially you, John. Well, listen, I might be gay, but there is nothing gayer than being in your late 20s, heading into your 30s to sign up to be on board a boat with a bunch of men and getting paid for it too. This might as well be prostitution, Spencer. But no, all jokes aside, like, good luck out there, bro. I hope it goes well for you. That is a interesting career path there, especially in our modern times. But I genuinely wish you the best, sir. Thank you,
And
Spencer.
won't those quote unquote men be about 10 years younger than him?
Yeah, you see, you're bringing in more questions. Now this is just weird. It's like, yeah, I just, as I'm pushing 30, I'm like, oh, I just want to be in a boat with a bunch of young 18-year-old boys. Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Chud for 2 says, at least New Mexico can use 6.5 Grendel master race. Well, yeah, but no, you can have a bolt action rifle or a straight pull. You can't even have a gas operated rifle. Submarines, no less.
Are they still called seamen?
They'll be surrounded by seamen, all right? On the rolling waves. Over on Ko-Fi, Tarke for 5 says, John, please talk me out of a Turkish HK-53 clone. 8-inch 5.56. Ooh, well, that right there, bro. My tax refund is impending, and it will want immediate spending. I haven't heard good things about the HK-53 clones. Now, obviously, a Turkish one is going to be a lot more attainable. But listen, Tarke, if this is an autism second kind of cool buy, like, you can buy it and not feel bad, because you're not buying it because it's the greatest firearm of all time. You're buying it because you want it, right? Now, just don't defend it online and be like, actually, it's really good. You guys just don't get it. It's actually surprisingly, an 8-inch 5.56 from Turkey is actually really good, guys. And it's just a clone of like an outdated, terrible design to begin with. But as I piss off all the HK fans, but I mean, I wouldn't buy one. But if it's a second kind of cool thing and you're just autistically attracted to it, as you are also autistically attracted to certain other things in your life, then I think that's fine.
You pissed off all the HK fanboys. Precisely 8 of them left.
Yeah, all 8 of the fanboys. Moonman crying in chat already, bro. Wild, dude. Base, get it. Base, get it, you godless sodomite. It's Kino. Roach roller guns are built on HK tooling. Yeah, but that's what they said about the POFs, the POFs, which are made in India. So I don't, it didn't seem to help much that they were made on HK tooling when the people running them are cockroaches, right? We need to autism max. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. Listen, if you get it, go for it. Nobody's, at least I'm not. I'm not going to stop. Now, over on Ko-Fi again, Polly B for $50.
Well, it's the start of a new week, so I thought I'd tell you to go fuck yourself. Word.
Says, definitely too spicy for YouTube. Ukrainians killing Russians. Horrible, no good brother war. They may not be Western, but their European Christian white cousins must end. India versus China. I press the red button. I pull the trolley lever. Bias for action. Take my tax dollars. Yeah, well, unfortunately, this isn't a hot war, okay? This isn't China versus India in a hot war. It's in a Dubai UAE SWAT competition, which is very funny. And if we get taken off of YouTube for it, say la vie, say la vie. But thank you for the 50, Polly. That is incredibly generous. I hope your Monday's going away. Last one on Ko-Fi says, Volker, how much to have a live stream watch party of Gunsmith Cats? 90 minutes asking for a friend. What the heck is Gunsmith Cats? If I have to look this up, and this is degenerate cat gun anime. What the heck? Gunsmith Cats? I mean, it's like ancient anime. English dub.
Oh,
Huh. It's actually a decent anime. The OG gun anime. OVA anime with good gun art and animation. I hate girly anime, but it's good. Interesting. Interesting. So maybe it's actually not a terrible idea. Listen, Volker, okay? $500. Name some insane price. And then at some point we can do that. $500, okay? If you're going to make me sit through an hour and a half of anime. Although watch it be like actually good and then I just watch the whole thing offline. But thank you for that, Volker. Appreciate it. Lena Mitchellix, North Starfish, says, not do stupid again. Yeah. Yep. Keep it
Perfectly
in the family.
timed.
Moonman for 2 says, gonna push focus in front of a moving bus. What did I do this time, Moonman? You know, he says all of these things in the nicest way possible because he's like throwing money to say like mean things to me. Rad's Arms for 2 says the new handheld mod light. I have not even looked at that. Mod light.
I was talking to Randy about that one the other day.
Moonman for 10 says, Richard, the horse girl that Logan likes, contemplating $500 to get Focus to play Azure Lane for Ivan. I'm not playing degenerate, like actual just softcore porn games on stream. That's not happening. So you could throw, if you did throw $500 for that, Moonman, I would just refund you the 500. I'm not playing that on stream. Thank you, Moonman. Jesus is my shadows. No, but thanks for becoming a YouTube member. That's blasphemy, but thanks, I guess. Moonman for 5 says, I never drank until I was 21. I am simply out here being the goodest boy until I finally snap. Yeah, that's how it goes. Are we talking about the Anarch? I mean, I think I could show this on stream. I don't think they're gonna hit me for a flashlight. It's literally just a flashlight. $130. It's like a really slim, like stiletto style flashlight. You know, I always hate handing over like $100, $200 on like handheld flashlights, but sometimes they're nice. Sometimes they are actually nice. You know, I'm rocking a Surefire G2X Tactical, okay, for $59.99. You know, sure, it's a little bulky, but it does the thing that I need it to do. And it's, you know, $60. So I'm sure it's fine. It looks all right. It looks small, 4 ounces. What are the 1,000 lumens, 18,000 candela? That's fine. 2.5 hours on high. That's actually really impressive battery life. That's really impressive battery life for what it is. Interesting.
At 17 on low.
Well, right. So like navigation purposes, like 10 watts or something. Folkstrip's wife. Hello, Anna. We all know who is keeping this family financially afloat, Pookie. It's your Atticatrocity with the big movie tatas. They're fighting again, just like they were in the intro. Thank you, Anna, very much. Rubicant for 10. Just picked up a Sig Tango MSR Compact 1-10 by 24 for my SBR 308. Yeah, bro, all of those things, you should just rethink your life. So 1-10 by 24, which means that you're only having the 30mm main tube, or is it the 34mm main tube? Because I have only heard terrible things about the MSR 1-10s. Like I've thought about buying them because they're cheap. And so just the review on them would be funny one way or the other. But like, geez, budget 1-10s are rough. So he continues, the glass is clean, maybe on 1X. The reticle is unbusy. Eye relief at 10X is kind of crappy, but overall happy with it. It was $700? SIG MSR 1-10s are not $700.
No.
And also, for $700, I could have gotten you like an actual good scope, bro. That's wild. 1-10. Where did you? Maybe the compact is 1-10. It is first focal plane. Okay, I don't know. Maybe I retract my previous statement. I don't think I've seen anyone on this one. If this one is new,
Is that the contract LPVO?
no. The AMG 1-8 shorty, the Vortex, whatever it is, or it's not the MSR. The SIG has one too, but it's the Tango. It's the Tango 6T or something. But that's also like, you know, $1,500, $1,600, and then the Vortex 1-8 shorty is like No, it's more. It's like $4,000, $5,000. It's a nutty amount of money. Yeah. Well, they do make a compact 1-10. I did not realize that they came out with a 1-10 version. It is only a 24mm objective, which is really small for 10X. Really, really small for 20X. Currently 600 at Optics Planet though. So You can still find it cheaper than 700. Comes with the mount. But yeah, 1 to 10 cheap LPVOs are usually a no-go. I would usually recommend against that. Amorite Boy for 2 says Spencer understands. It's about the implication, right? Not that I would do anything, but it's about the implication. Thank you, Amorite Boy, very much. David, last name for 5, says, I want to buy once, cry once. That being said, versus the ATACR, it's lighter, larger field of view, cheaper, more magnification. I want the magnification FDE2. Well, if you've already done the research into what it is that you want, like, sure, go for it. You like it, you like it. Thank you, David. Rad's Arms for 2 says, play the oversized violin. That is a cello. And that is my wife's cello. I just keep it in here so that the kids don't destroy it. Now, I'll let you figure out whether that's Anna's cello or Sydney's cello. Thank you, Rads. Light Sport for 2 says, Gold Chip is the best girl. Uma's Rise Up. Oh my gosh, it's a mimetic effect on the chat. She parted for 5 says, John, please don't slander the HK. Germans have suffered enough. They can hardly live buried under all that military LE contract money. Well, I mean, to sue the country of Finland for not adopting a HK rifle is also a bold move.
Do you think the Finns would support pouring the concrete sarcophagus over them?
Yo, dude, that's wild. I love that story so much. I love the brutalist architecture of it because it reminds me of certain W2 bad guys art designs. You should look up some of their architecture plans. Wild. Let's see. All right. Well, finally, actually, no, there's one more on Ko-Fi. Sorry, I got to refresh over here. And Podnamo says, did you find a good 9mm flow-through can yet? No, but I'm still waiting to pick up my tuna can. I'm still waiting on approval to come through. Logan for 2 says, you will like Uma Musume, John. You can't stop it. I already did. Haven't touched it again, you know? I played it for that 1 hour, and I don't plan on ever playing it again. Rubicant for 5 says SFP is $5.99, FFP is $6.99. Part numbers are different by 2 at the end to differentiate. Well, I just deleted it. Maybe I was looking at the wrong one. Fine, whatever, bro. Whatever, bro. But still, like $700 on a cheap 1 to 10? I don't know about that. Now, speaking about something that you're never going to be able to buy, all right? We have Russian ingenuity? Question mark? PDW, brutalist, kind of cool looking, kind of vibey. Looks like it belongs in an 80s action movie, right? Looks like Kurt Russell should be using this in Soldier, something like that. But this is the Russia restarts the SR-2M production to sustain compact armor-piercing firepower. Kalashnikov Group announced on February 6, 2026, that Tokmash has begun fulfilling a new government contract for modernized SR-2M 9x21mm machine guns. The move signals a sustainment decision, keeping a niche but armor-defeating close-quarters weapon in serial production rather than introducing a new platform. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Although I don't think I've ever seen a picture of somebody actually using one of these things. They disclosed on February 6, 2026, that they started a new government contract to procure a modernized 9mm SR.2M, keeping in motion a compact weapons line that has served Russian security units for more than 2 decades. That announcement reads less like a breakthrough and more like a deliberate sustainment move to preserve a proven, high-penetration personal defense weapon in serial output while tightening the design details that shape daily carry, safe handling, speed at which an operator can bring the gun from transport posture to a first accurate boost. So let's see. The modernized 9mm SR.2M with a folding metal stock, which is this little bit here, which looks very uncomfortable, but it does keep with the AK aesthetic. Improved lock firing, high penetration 9x21 rounds from 20 or 30 round magazines for compact close quarters use out to 200 meters. Optimized for rapid deployment in vehicles, urban fighting, and protective security missions. That's from Kalashnikov Group. So I'm actually curious, what type of ammo are they running in these? So it's using with the armor-piercing SP-10, often cited in open sources as being optimized for defeating soft body armor at short to medium ranges. The focus matters because many real-world encounters for security units occur inside that envelope where pistol rounds struggle against modern vests. In that niche, a subcompact automatic weapon that can still threaten protected targets out to 1 to 200 meters offers a different tactical option than a sidearm without the bulk and signature of an assault rifle. Interesting. It's only 3 pounds of solid steel, 3.5 pounds of solid steel. And yeah, they're bringing it back. Never went away. It looks cool. I'm pretty sure this is. Let me pull up the Modern Warfare 2 PPS 2000 to SMG list. Pretty sure it's the same gun. Chips Debo for 5 says, I've wanted an SR2M ever since Battlefield 4, even more than an MP7. That's interesting. Let me see here. Actually, no, it wasn't a SMG in Modern Warfare 2. It was a sidearm, wasn't it? Or a machine pistol? Weren't they in like their own special genre back in the day? Modern Warfare 2009. Let me see if I can find it. Purely just for my own gratification.
I'd be interested to know like how many instances it's actually been used in modern combat. Like, are they actually using it to do?
Yeah, well, very similar to a 50 BMG being banned for civilians. It's like, how many times has it actually been used? Once. Exactly.
Like maybe they are actually using it in like clandestine operations, like behind enemy lines, like doing some cool guy stuff. But
well, I'm sure people like are using it, like they have it, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's going to be a mainline unit. Yeah, the PP2000. That's kind of it, I think. Looks similar enough. Although this one here is a side folding rather than a over the top folding one. Interesting. All right. Well, for you Rushaboos out there, you're going to be very excited that this has come back, I guess. Yeah, it's probably like 3 people that have ever actually used the thing. All right. Well, let me see. Oh, here we go. Okay. Well, before we get to the big story, I guess you can't really call it a story. It's just Indian men versus Chinese females. All right. Who wins a SWAT-based competition? All right. Before we get it, let me get rid of through these two. Moonman for 5 says, Amoko, why does Sakura not have a Type 100? Tell me, or I will get violent. I think you're referencing a video game. Chips Devil for 5 says, I've wanted an SR2M ever since Battlefield 4, even more than an MP7. Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted an MP7, like, generically, but the more that I learn about it, the less I'm like, oh, this is actually a good gun. More it's like a niche novel piece that people like because it's in video games. I say the Chinese females. Well, that might be a bit of a spoiler alert. So now this, we might need to be a little careful here, just because of them handling certain items on screen, but maybe it's small enough and blurry enough that you won't be able to tell. So again,
I mean, it's good video game graphics.
Yeah, for all we know. Justin, all-female Chinese SWAT team defeats all-male Indian team in UAE competition. So have you ever seen these SWAT comps, Midwest?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are always fun when they put up the different teams.
I believe
from all around the world.
Orlando SWAT has a team there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've seen, like, you know, all the different, you know, SWAT, military, police from all over compete in these things. It's kind of interesting to see how the different people do certain tasks. Like, I think one time we watched a all-female squad, like, fail at an event. Did we watch that on stream, Richard, at some point? Where, like, they couldn't get across the zip line? Isn't that the thing? They had to keep going back and back and back.
Yeah, there was... that was a good one. It was a rope swing, if I remember correctly.
Too many who just threat of dishonor will motivate greatly. Yeah, when you get black bagged when you come home after losing. So maybe, yeah, please do not lose. Otherwise, family be very sad, very dishonor. Much.
Is the Tomarist team of Kazakhstan. 2 minutes, 3 seconds, 0.4.
冷静, cool down. No need to be rushed. Don't make mistake.
Smooth is fast is what we always hear, isn't it?
Exactly.
But that's the thing, Danny, in this competition.
So I don't know exactly how the games work, but they definitely have like one person specialize as the sniper, and then they have pistol people, they have door breach people, and they all have to get all of their individual tasks done in time so that the next team can continue to move. So like if what's going to happen here is if you can't get your sniping done on time, well, then your team can't progress until you like finish it. So this is going to hold them up, even though like Indian male beats her to the car by like 5 seconds. Easily 5 seconds over like 2 obstacles and maybe like 50 to 100 meter run.
Sometimes the nerves.
好，狙击手来到 SUV 的后面。
Oh, she's just having a few problems opening that tailgate.
It's okay. It's not only her doing. It's
女队选择使用的是高精狙。
that door every year create a lot of problem. Okay, that's a good shot. 打得好，第一枪顺。
好，两枪非常速度非常快，非常快。
破门。
好，狙击手的任务已经完成了，破门一次就过。好的，现在突击队已经到达了第一个射击发起位置。
I like how, I don't know, maybe they made the door different, but the Chinese team got through the door in 1 hit. So a bunch of females got through the door in 1 smack. If I back it up here, you can
What
watch
are
them
those
run
sound
through the door and get
effects?
No, that's them screaming. It's like a video game sounds. Sounds like Link.
好的，现在突击队已经到达了第一个。
So yeah, that's the Chinese team on the bottom. Oh wait, no, sorry, that's still the where. There we go. Okay, that's the Chinese team on top. My bad.
非常快。破门。好，狙击手的任务已经完成了，破门一次就过。
Yeah, they get through the first
现在
strike.
突击队已经到达了第一个。
Indian team tries to get there. Oh, it's only one guy doing it. That's why.
好的
There you go.
利兹也是一枪中。 现在枪已经提前完成了他的射击。 是同时3个冲锋枪也完成了他们的射击。现在女队到。
So yeah, then the sniper has to go. Their sniper is still trying to hit the standing shot. So they have 2 prone shots, which are very small, like 2-inch targets. 1 kneeling shot, which is like 5 or 6 inches, and then the bigger plate is the standing shot, which is you would think, as a trained professional, would not be a complex shot, considering I think they're only 100 yards away. That's right. This is something that most people in the chat should be able to hit basically on demand, let alone a trained sniper. Dude, there's like 4 pixels there. Relax. There's like 4 pixels there, dog. And then this lady is going to run the Texas Star, which might be the shortest, or the longest Texas Star I've ever seen a professional do.
到达第2个射击发起位置，同时狙击手也来到了风车靶面前。全中，非常快，非常快，非常好。现在4个发起位置已经完成了1个射击。我们的女卫士长代表队使用的是92改手枪，加了红点的瞄具。
Now then they have to do one member has to do an 80-kilogram body drag, and this is the hardest one. That's about 200 pounds, right? Famously, Lucas Botkin failed a 200-pound body drag at, was it Memorial 3-gun? So we got a DNF on that stage, I want to say, because just whatever physically happened there, he was not able to complete that. So I mean, 200 pounds is not nothing.
Bummer.
There is not a lot of women that could drag a 200-pound woman or 200-pound body that far.
200 pounds is like 2 Lucas Botkins.
Does a 200-pound woman weigh more than a 200-pound man?
Well,
Yes.
sorry, I just mean dragging a 200-pound person. Well, there would be a lot more material in a 200-pound woman. It'd be a lot harder to grab onto because it'd be a lot more fat.
And the surface area would drag friction. Like, so yes, she would be heavier.
Wish I was that dummy. Yeah, don't worry. The Indian man will be here to pick you up in just a second. Don't you worry.
现在狙击手正在搬运第1个假人。
Why does he keep taking his eyes off the sights? Like he just keeps coming off every time. Is he
Well, look at
surprised?
him.
Is he surprised he hit it?
He's having like problems here. So I'm going to go back and just watch his Texas Star. It's like the lady was slow, but she didn't miss a shot. She just went 1, 2, like super slow, over confirming, like just like making sure she did her thing. And then this guy is like taking breaks, which is what he did with the sniper rifle too. If you notice, like he took twice as long to take the first shot, and he's like pausing in between each one. It's only like those. That's a big Texas Star, and that's maybe 10 yards away, maybe 15 yards away at most.
He like comes up that he's like surprised that he actually hit something. Watch him, watch
我
him.
们的女卫士长代表队使用的是92改手枪，加了红点的瞄具。
See, he like comes off of it for a second.
正在搬运第一个假人。
Oh, he had to reload? Oh no, bro.
这里完全不需要快，慢慢来就行了。整体速度来到接近2分钟。
Oh, he barely hit that one at the end.
这是一个非常理想的完成时间。
And then all she has to do is make it past the finish
非常
line
好，非常好。
and then
现在其他队员已经来
run
了
somewhere, or is she
他们
done?
的战术应该是只需要狙击手搬运一个。
Okay, and then the team has to bring the second one over. That's how it
线
goes.
No, they can't. They're just going to miss out.
来自中国特勤局的女卫市长代表队，他们的完成时间是2分08秒。这个对于女子参赛队来说是一个非常快的成绩。现在他们应该是在女队中排名第一的。现在是女子第一。
And then he ran back to help, I guess? The other lady didn't.
啊，祝贺印度队。
23 seconds more than the all-female, like probably like 140-pound average weight female Chinese SWAT team.
So is that the team they keep telling me they're gonna send for me if I redeem?
Yeah. This is their best unit. All right. This one's gonna be on all of their scamming the scammers calls. Okay. That
I'm
is
just surprised that they all made it across the finish line without getting hit, without one of them getting hit by a train.
Yeah. Yes. If they had a train on the tracks, it would have been tragic. They would have walked right at that thing, dude. I wonder who actually won this real fast. I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna look who did the best time. Cause like if a female team can do it in 2 minutes roughly flat, like I'm thinking like a top tier team might be able to get close to like
Usually
90
like
seconds.
Austria or Germany. It's one of those countries normally, but
Because I mean you could practice this and get this down like pat.
yeah.
Like pat. UAE SWAT challenge winner. Because I know they do like every year it's a little bit different. So yeah, I saw that one. And there's a bunch of different challenge if I'm not mistaken too. Pakistan beat India as well. That's quite funny. UAE SWAT challenge 2026. Let me look this up. UAE SWAT challenge 2026. Oh, is that actually just it? All right. It's literally UAE SWAT challenge is the name of the website. Fair enough. All right, 2026. Is this it? Kazakhstan? Really? Interesting. Okay, so let me show you this, guys. I don't know. Ministry of Interior. Okay. It's like AI graphics, but I don't know what you expect from the Arabs. So original time 426, Kazakhstan C, and then Kazakhstan A were 1 and 2. Royal Thai Police number 3. Oman, Malkit Police China was 8 and 10. San Antonio PD 12, so just outside the top 10 for San Antonio. That's actually pretty good. And anybody else of interest? Orlando PD 29. Yeah. China actually doing surprisingly well in a lot of these. They had a lot of teams out there. Let's see.
Special forces of what?
Special forces of what?
There was some special forces of the forest.
Special or of the Bureau of the Border.
Yeah. In the world.
Yeah. National Guard. That's funny. They were only like point. Oh, I wonder if it's based off of scoring or something like that. Moscow Police top 60. Which okay? So what's the fastest time? Fastest total time was 5:19. So and then some of these guys have a lot of penalties, which is why they're actually faster, right? But their penalty time makes it higher.
That's number 4 on the there was faster times up there.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3 here. Well, the fastest time, original time, 4:26. So I think 4:26 is overall the fastest. But I mean, this guy here would have been a 4:29 if they didn't have a 30-second penalty. So that would have been.
Is this just for that one event we just watched, or this is for the overall?
This is more. This is final standing. So I think if you look at Do they have like just the individual challenges? Because that would be kind of interesting. Well, let's see. Can I see standings? Yeah, no, these are the challenges. Oh, can I see the standings? Go away. About schedule rewards, mission teams, draw results. I don't know. It's an Arab website. What do you want me to do? Just see who's last. Okay, fine. I'll check who's last on it. And then we'll go ahead and get out of here. Wait. Yes, I want. See final standings. That's what I clicked on. Okay, so let's see. Who is in last place? 109. Funny number. The Oman Royal Police Special Operation. Oh, no, those are DNFs. Those don't count. 9 minutes of penalties for the Ajman Police. So that's actually tragic. Wonder, is there anybody cool?
31 minutes of penalties? What in the world?
Yeah, groupment, polyvalent, de-interventions. Some African country. I'm not sure.
They do ND to their back of another guy, or?
It's funny that their time was 3 times as long as the Ajman Police, but somehow they came with less points. So I don't know if that's just like how they actually performed in the events themselves. Like, I don't know if there's like hostage targets and you shoot a hostage target in this event, you get like, you know, minus 20 points or something like that. Let's see. Dallas Police Department, 80, but that's with 5 minutes of penalties. So that's
NYPD.
Yep. Emergency Service Unit, 8-minute time, but 7.5 minutes of penalties. So I feel like, yeah, this is one of those events where you need to be very, very cognizant of the way that it's played, right? The penalties kill you. There's some matches that are like that too, where like, you know, in a normal like hit factor scoring match, if you miss one shot, it's like minus 10 points. It's like, okay. But there's some of these matches where it's time plus, and it's like 1 minute for every missed shot. And you're like, whoa, bro, that's wild. Some of these stages are like 30 seconds long, right? So if you're adding a minute for every
the UAE
issue,
have there? Holy cow!
Some of these people have like they have to have 10 teams. Yeah,
There's
so the best scoring American was San Antonio, 539 with no penalties, clean run. Interesting. So yeah, Kazakhstan apparently killers at this though, 1 and 2, and they had at least 4 teams out there, all in the top 25. Wow. Good for them. Good for them. Quote, well, American, quote unquote. Well, actually, you know what? If Josh is still here, I do have to shout out the U.S. Figure skating team also won gold, so that is very important. You know, U.S. figure skating gold. So this is very important to let me see. To our real Southern Mr. Josh in chat, if he's hanging out still. Yeah, U.S. figure skating just won Olympic gold in the team event, and look how patriotic they all are. Aw. Dude. That actually looks like Americans there. Wild. So it's weird to see an American team looking American. Bushmaster for 2 says, when you say World War II bad guys, I assume you mean the Soviets, right? Well, that is true. The Soviets were the worst team in World War II by far. I mean, I don't even think that's disputable, just by numbers, their post-war antics, their pre-war antics. I don't think it's disputable that Russia was the worst team in World War II. So you are correct. Over on Ko-Fi, Subartic Psycho says, we can form a team of Jonathan Campbell clones to compete against that female Chinese team. It'll be fair since they're both the same size and weight. Subartic Psycho. You know what? Actually, that girl who was carrying that 80 kilogram, like, she might be like 6 feet tall for all we know. So she would tower over me. I would be terrified to compete against such Oriental monsters. Oriental's not a slur, is it? Like they're from the Orient. Yeah, it's kosher. I'm sure it is. Sheep Herder for 5 says, speaking of retro futuristic guns, one of the guys I shoot with just bought a Calico M950. Didn't know the sights are installed on the Helical Max. That's one of those wacky ones, isn't it? That was it. Forgotten Weapons, was he running that in a competition?
Yes.
One where you have to like cycle it, like you have to fill the magazine and then set the tension screw like 30 times.
Yep.
Yeah, so the sights are on the magazine itself, which is quite funny. Because there's no other way to get a set of sights on there. You would need a GBRS Hydra mount on that handguard to be able to see a red dot from above that magazine.
Well,
So
I believe Ian had his milled for a red dot on the top there, where the
yeah, you can do that. If there's enough metal material there, you can like tap one on there, or drill it on there, however you can get it in there. So,
yeah.
Thank you, Sheep Herder. Appreciate it. It's a wacky looking gun, but if it works, it works. Central Sands Defense for 5 says, someone say SWAT had to put the donuts down, dude. Yeah, bro. Okay, well, that's the thing. All right. Do you think you could take on the Chinese female team? You think you got what it takes, you and your team? I think you could handle it. Obviously, you know, you would be at a disadvantage for the sniping portion of it, but for everything else, you could probably do all right.
I mean, that's got to be an ego destroyer for some of those SWAT guys, because I know they have some egos, and getting beat by a woman Chinese team.
As you saw during their actual shooting, some of them aren't very good, right? Some of them think they're hot because they can make a really small group under like, no time pressure, right? And they're like, oh, I'm really good. Look at this. I'm on the game. And then, somebody else does it in like 1/5 the time. And they're like, oh, that's what shooting is like.
I mean, is Kazakhstan a third world country? They're not first, right?
Honestly, they all bleed together at this point. Kazakhstan, third world, question mark?
I mean, that's pretty bad if first world countries are getting beat by literal sand people.
Yeah, so it's called the developing country or an emerging country. It's technically not third world, all right?
Khabib is from there, correct?
Yeah, they're great.
He's Dagestan, wasn't he?
Dagestan.
I mean, it's the same like Caucasus Mountains area, though. They all kind of bleed together, all right? They're all inbred, all right? It's fine, Khabib, married his cousin. It's fine. It's fine. It's just how it's how life works over there. Okay, you got limited gene pool options. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it. Glocky McGlockface for 2 says India uses SIGs. Explains a lot on why they suck. Well, they have a deal with SIG to make SIGs in India, and allegedly boxes of Indo-MIM parts show up at American SIG headquarters or at their assembly lines. It's just really weird how that type of thing happens, right? They're American-made P320s, just happen to have some Indian parts in them. It's weird. It's weird that they move manufacturing over there. It's kind of strange how things work out sometimes. Allegedly. Thank you, Glocky McGlockface. Glocky McGlockface for 2 says Wuhan butt flu boogaloo. The Wuhan butt flu boogaloo. Okay, good to know. Sounds like monkeypox. Glocky McGlockface for 2 says one dines on bats, the other slings poo. It's true. If they had a Pokemon battle, one would have whatever that I guess Diggle would be on the Indian side, and then they have that bat for the Chinese side. Although if Pokemon were real, the Chinese would be eating them. Let's not beat around the bush there, okay? They'd have like fine Pokemon dishes to eat. Exquisite cuisine. Everyday American for 5 says need to pick a new 14.5 upper BCM Mark II BFH. Geisley URG Mod 1, Daniel Defense Riz 3, or Noveski. The BCM Mark II is a great upper receiver. I'm not a huge fan of the ELW barrels, but the BFH should be fine. However, the Geisley Mod 1s are probably the best around, and if you can find one for under $1,000, that would be my personal recommendation. The Riz 3s, piggy, but, fine. They're fine. The Noveskis, I would just say no. Like, I wouldn't buy a Noveski. Well, yeah, and also, if you're one of the 500 people I sent a coupon code to, you can get one for like $760. Marky Mark for 2 says, where did Uvalde, Texas finish, lol? Dead last, bro. They actually got scared to enter the competition. Funny story there. They backed out at the last minute. Scared to enter? That sounds familiar. Thank you, Marky Mark.
They went up and they jiggled the door handle and they said nope.
Yeah. It sounded like they were shooting on the insides. Why would they go in? They're a little scared. Emrite Boy for 5 says, are we not going to mention what a good citizen and, dare I say, heroic Richard was when he stopped and helped while others drove past? We're back to the unicycle gag, right? That's what he's referring to, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Thank you, Amrite Boy. Appreciate it. Justin Space Cowboy for 2 says, have you seen the WIP M249 FRTs on Mod O's IG? I have. They're currently in development, but I don't know how exciting that is because the M249s from, what is it, Ohio Ordnance?
Yeah.
They're like 10K.
Yeah.
And you can get multiples of the Lima 6s or Fight Lights or any of the other, you know, AR belt-fed derivatives that also, you know, take belts and take regular FRTs. So while it's interesting and it's probably the most capable system out there, it's still closed bolt. So dropping 10K on a closed bolt M249 to put it in an FRT is like novel, and some YouTuber is going to do it and it's going to get some hype, but I don't know if that's a realistic solution for like actual humans, right? Because we all know that YouTubers are not humans. Moonant for 5 says, Lightspore and I shall take the Chinese SWAT team, but like Genghis Khan, also Kazakhstan is a second world country, former Soviet versus online. Very nice. I think you could take them. I think it'd be pretty easy. I'm pretty sure Lightspore by himself could like mog all of them. Everyday American for 2 says, Geisley still all sold out. Whack. Give it time. Again, the code doesn't end until May. So unless you like need something right now, like I would just take your time because there's stuff that I want to get that's also gone. So, and I'm just going to wait it out. Fingers crossed that they get it back in stock by May. Thank you, Everyday American. Appreciate you much. All right, sweet. That was it, guys. That was all I had planned tonight. It is a perfect 2-hour stream. So, Midwest, where can people find you? What do you want to shout out before we get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, I got a YouTube channel. It's pretty small, but I put some stuff on there every once in a while. Try to do a lot more lately. So, I got a lot more information coming on the whole Indiana State Police on their P320 debacle. So I'll be putting a video out here probably end of this week on that. So yeah, that's about it.
Sweet. I put your link in the YouTube chat, in the Rumble chat. Amorite Boy says, no, I'm speaking of the dogs.
So I don't know.
Oh, the PETA dogs?
No, John wasn't paying attention. There was a fire last night. I ended up saving a couple people and some dogs. So.
Oh,
how did I not hear that?
I'm not sure. Yeah, and
that completely that was not in my mind at all. That's wild.
They said, "Hey, what can we do to help?" And they all pitched in a little bit of money, and I matched it. And I went this morning and got some beds and treats and food and stuff for the dogs. And
yeah, heck yeah, that's awesome, man.
You're a nice guy after all.
Yeah.
Shh.
Sorry, I missed that the first time. Jeez, I feel bad that I literally did not have that in my mind at all. I must have been thinking about something else, looking at something else, but yeah. That's quite a bit funny. Now I'm wondering what else have I missed. We've been streaming for like over a year together.
I do things.
Dude, John Browning Gun Club is your biggest hater. Rare Richard W. That's so funny.
I get at least one a year, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't only be the Eeyore of GunTube. So, 8 weeks of basic on Wednesday. Well, have fun. 8 weeks. 8 weeks isn't actually that long, you know. Be back in like middle of summer. You'll be fine. You'll do great. Thank you, my boy, for the 2. Appreciate it. All right, Richard, what do you got going on?
Tomorrow I have the Waltz 9 video coming out and at least one video about female cops doing wonderful, silly, wacky things.
It is surprising how many videos of female cops we get.
Yeah.
Just seems
keep them coming. If you guys are out there and you're enjoying that stuff as much as I am, please send them all my way. Makes for great
Richard,
content.
You heard it here. Richard loves female cops. Loves
not as much as
female
Jake.
Cops. Richard Sydney says you used your one base take in February. Going to be a long year. Yeah, that's your W for the whole year, bro. Spent it early. You spent it in Black History Month. I'm gonna save mine for June for reasons.
I spent it in Black History Month to save an old retired white couple who the lady started crying because she had missed church yesterday.
Oh,
and it broke my heart.
Well, it's good. It's good that you were there, man. Right place, right time, dude.
We had
doing
two
the right thing.
Two churches this week or over the weekend that caught on fire. So it's pretty sad for those people. Just complete losses. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. There's been some of that going around. Moonman for 5 says, and I must undo the one-child policy via the lady SWAT teams of the world. That's right. You personally will restart their dying population with their SWAT teams only, of course, because we're breeding stock here. Okay, so we're only taking the highest value females from the other countries and doing the thing.
Word for that, scientific based. Yeah. Well.
I don't know which one it is. I don't know. There's a lot of them I could say, but I was trying not to.
Breeding.
Selective breeding, eugenics. Yeah. I mean, whatever you want.
There you go. Yeah.
Whatever. Oh, I just now looked at your thumbnail for Big Rock Sports, dude. That is not what I thought was going on in that image. For a second, I thought his fly was down. Like, what am I looking at? I was like, what? What is? That's me. But whoa, I thought his fly was open. I was like, whoa, what the heck is happening in this image here? That's what I dropped a link. Focus Clips. Go check it out. It's the second channel. It's where all the clips go. It's so much. There's so much less, nonsense and drama happening because it's just the clips. Moonman, do not do that. Do not do that. I'm going to bed. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to go to bed. I'm going to go on a walk. Todd Dogs for 2 says, what happened to the chat member that was dying? So I reached out to him and he vague posted on me basically like, oh, I just won't be around much longer. And I was like, is this terminal? Is this suicide? Like, what are you actually talking about? And he didn't really give me any specifics, but he just wished us the best and that he probably wouldn't be around for much longer. So I tried to pry a little bit and figure out the situation, and I'll probably continue to, see if there's anything we can do to help, because I offered multiple times, like, if there's anything you need, anything that the community that I can do for you personally, like, we'd be happy to do so. But yeah, no further updates on P on a 320. So I'd like to get some more info, and I will continue to try. But if he doesn't tell me anything, there's little for me to go off of. Thank you, Tom Dogs.
Yeah. I also had several people asking me about him in the Discord and DMs, and a couple emails. So I know that there's other guys out there who are also wanting to help out in any way they can.
Yeah, no, I know the community would absolutely come together to help somebody in need, so I'm not worried about that at all. But I just literally couldn't actually get any information from him about the situation, so I attempted to multiple times. Moonman for 2 says, also, where do I get foul mags in this economy? Yeah, that's a good question. That's a foul guy problem, though. That's the thing. Those rifles look nice. Okay, you're not actually supposed to shoot them, or you have to go and you have to spend like $100+ on a real magazine. Okay, that's what you have to do. Listen, if you shoot 2011s, you know the pain. It's like, yeah, $120 for a magazine. It's fine. It's a normal price, dude. Or at DSA. I'm sure I could hook you up with the guy at DSA. So just let me know. But all that out of the way, gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. I hope you had a wonderful time. Thanks to Midwest and Richard for hanging out. But we're going to go now. We'll see you Wednesday. Maybe we'll have some more wacky topics lined up. Check out the links that I posted in the description for everybody so that you can find them, subscribe to them, call them silly, funny names, and all that good jazz. But with all that out of the way, gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. Christ is King. God bless. Let's be.
Cannot believe how beautiful your voice is, but I can't hear what you're saying.